Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I have Roy White on the line, and he is CEO of Strategic Technical Solutions and Consulting. Roy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Roy. So first off, I'm excited to have you on the show and so excited to announce to our audience that you will be one of the upcoming authors in one of our upcoming books, Business of Our Business Leaders series. Roy, first off, just want to say, hey, congrats on being in the book, man. I'm excited.
Thank you. I'm excited too. Excited to tell my story.
All right, and we'll be bringing that to our audience. And so today, for everybody watching this, we're going to get into, of course, the book. We'll get into Roy's background, and really, this is part one of a two-part series. We'll be bringing Roy back on the show when the book is actually live and out, so we can do a deep dive into his writing as well. But for now, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all, with our Mission Matters Minute. So, Roy, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. Roy, what mission matters to you?
A mission matters, the people, the people that you serve and being a leader, it really matters because they help you grow the business and build the business. So that really matters to me, and being strategic in how you do things.
Yeah. It's great to bring on mission-based entrepreneurs onto the show to share, their background, their mission, how they do what they do, and what we can all learn from that so we can grow together. So great to have you on. And I guess just to get us kicked off, Roy, where did this whole idea begin for you, like of entrepreneurship or otherwise? Like where did all that start?
I had to say it started when I was a younger kid. My grandmother had to get a new water heater, and it came in a box, and I took some crates and built it up. And I started this business called White Enterprises when I was a kid, and I used to make phone calls to my aunts, and I would, I learned about Star 69 at that time, the hard way. But I used to call, and they would call me back, and things like that. So they would listen to my voicemail, my answer machine, and I would play with this all the time. And it was always a thing that I wanted to do business because I seen my grandfather run his business, a junkyard down in Wilmore, Kentucky, and I just wanted to do it. I wanted to do what he was doing and things like that. Go to the meetings he was going to and things of that nature.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting. So like entrepreneurship, whether it starts at a young age or further along in life, do you think like entrepreneurship has to be in your blood, or is this something that could be taught? Like what's your idea on it?
I think it's both, depending on, your passion, because, we don't really find out what our passion is in life until later on. And, a lot of things kind of escalate up until that point of what you determine is your passion or your purpose, in life and things like that. So I wouldn't say that, you would have to be born with it, but I mean, it has to be in you. You have to have that extra why, to push you past, the woes of entrepreneurship. And, I equate it to, jumping off a mountain and trying to get all the information you can get, at one time, and making sure that you, can be successful in building a parachute with that information before you hit the ground. So, I mean, I think it can be learned, it can be taught, but, some people have it, at a young age, and some people, develop it along the way.
Yeah. And when I think about the entrepreneurial journey, like for everybody, I like that you use mountains and in your description, because to me, it's like sometimes you might be on top of that mountain. Sometimes you're falling off the mountain. Like you said, it's that roller coaster of entrepreneurship. If you could go back to, and I don't mean all the way back to the childhood days, but when you were just getting started, let's just say with your first adult business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could give yourself some tips and kind of, quarterback, knowing what's already going to happen in the game. What kind of things would you tell yourself if you were just getting started again?
To be patient, but don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
I think that, a lot of people get caught up in understanding failure. And I kind of equate it to the fact that no matter playing a video game, I wasn't afraid to fail in Mario Brothers and stuff like that. And I got another chance. So why not, get that chance to bet on me and, and give me my best shot.
Yeah. I like that analogy, like video games and that idea that you might get another shot. Like it's legit.
Yeah.
So you're also a veteran. Do you think that plays into or assists your ability as an entrepreneur? I'm always curious to ask that question.
I Entrepreneurship, maybe not. I think more so it was more of just the impact. I think a lot of us veterans, once we get out, we just want to make sure that we're continuing the impact, because what we're taught in the military is that every inch of our job, everything that we do each day, brings some sort of impact to, whatever armed services we're in. So I feel like that impact kind of, like, you find your niche of what you can do best. And I felt like leadership and, having an IT background and understanding strategy and things of that nature was my avenue to take.
Yeah. And let's go further along that path. So you're no longer in the service. Like what's next?
I've started business, I started a business, during, I guess, right before I got out. And I was playing around with loading antiviruses on my coworkers and things like that. That's how far back, but we're not going to date myself. Some people still have AOL disk at that time, but
oh, come on.
It was one of the things that, I wanted to do. And I was like, hey, I'm, making, waves with this, but I also met a lot of great people along the way. And it contributed to me going into, wanting to own my own business and doing government contracting. But, I took a contract job getting out of the military, and then I went to work for Booz Allen in Hamilton. I learned a lot of great things there and moved on to work for a company called Diverse Concepts, which I ended up buying into later on down the road.
How important have relationships been along your career? Like, what roles have those played?
Astronomical. I had to say, just to answer that, honestly and bluntly, like, I wouldn't be here without the relationship.
I get that. And I get that from the more I get to learn about your story and otherwise. And I feel like many times, and this is one of the things that I've just happened to notice, at least the veterans that have been on this show and that I've been encountered with or in contact with pretty often, is that idea of being on a team and understanding your importance of the team and understanding like that. I think it's just, because I guess the military could be a life and death situation depending on what you're doing, right? And there's a big, supply chain that's affected by every single person that, in everybody doing their job. So I feel like a lot of times when, veterans are going to the workforce, whether as entrepreneurs or working corporate America or other things like that, that concept of the relationship, the team, the relation to your team members and how everybody plays a role and a part. I feel like that to me is one of those edges that I feel like a lot of veterans have.
Yeah, I when I got my first troop in the military, my supervisor was standing on the steps of the Pentagon, and he broke down being in a bunker with your troops. And, he was like, there's live ammo there. So, how do you determine that relationship that you have with that person, prior to getting in the bunker? And he said, that's how you look at every day of going in there and being a leader in front of your people. Yeah. And I agree.
I want to jump around a bit here for a moment. I do want to spend some time on the book. And like I mentioned before to everyone watching this, we're going to keep it a little surface level today, but don't worry, we will be bringing Roy back on the show. So we'll do a deep dive when the book is live, but high level, Roy, like what are some of the things that you plan on talking about in the upcoming?
Just high level, just the fact of how mentorship has impacted me and helped me grow professionally, personally. So taking, those aspects of, just those aha moments I had along the way and allowing those to be a part of who I am and help me with the level of success that I've made it to. So, this far. And, hopefully I can carry on with, those relationships and things like that I've met, the people I've met along the way and the things I've learned from them and carry me. And hopefully it'll impact someone else to understand that how important those relationships are in their life.
Yeah, it's definitely a great legacy. And I'm going to cut you off there. That's enough. That's what we call a teaser for everyone. And that teaser is you're going to listen to the next interview and then also pick up a copy of that book because we do sell books. So when it is live, but jumping around here a bit more, Roy, I want to fast forward a bit to your current business. So Strategic Technical Solutions and Consulting. Tell us a little bit more about your firm.
Oh, so, I recognize the need and the necessity with small businesses along the way of, aligning the technology from a more of a CTO role and looking at the efficiencies and helping them get over that hump of growing, an organizational a strategic growth and things like that. So I brought that into play as far as, doing some program management and things like that and helping them implement some very, basic business, and industry practices that will help them grow or, at least put them in the right, direction to grow.
Yeah.
But they have to do the work too. So, I'm just there to kind of help coach and bring it along.
Let's go a little bit deeper into this. So what type of services do you?
More program management, strategic growth consulting, business consulting, and some strategic organizational alignment to the fact of the matter of helping them align and build an infrastructure that supports the processes that they have in their office.
Yeah. What are the types of clients that you find normally get the most value out of working with you in your firm? Whether it's, I don't know, maybe industry or size of company, or like maybe it's you're agnostic. I mean, in terms of who you can work with, give us a little bit of a flavor for that.
So it's more, small businesses, small to medium-sized businesses that have kind of hit that plateau of what's next. Small businesses that are, ramping up to get, for growth and things like that when they're getting certain socioeconomic statuses and things like that to do with government contracting, or if it's just B2B and and building what I call a toolbox of partners to actually sell and provide equipment or software as a VAR.
So when it comes to your industry and from your vantage point, are there any trends or just things that are interesting you right now? Like what's on your radar?
The starting to look at a lot of the ownership of data and how data is ingested and things like that, as well as the security of that data and how that's become more of a asset to businesses now than the actual product that they sell. It kind of moved from technology, a few years back probably was like fifth on the priority list if you were a non-IT company, but now it's probably like two now that you have data and you have to protect that data and things like that.
Yeah. And I understand. So, a lot of companies that'll hire you and hire your team. So maybe they may already have, right, an existing IT company, or they may, or internal, I should say, IT department or other things like that. But you're doing a lot of the consulting side of things too. So when they need a specialist or they need other things or they don't have bandwidth, you're not necessarily always replacing an IT department or otherwise. Like you're also just kind of like almost like a bolt-on or like an additional layer to that. Am I off on that? I just want to make sure I'm representing.
Yeah, it's more of, the program management, the overview, someone actually to kind of come in and say, hey, no, we're going the wrong way. Let's go, like that detour sign. And, and I work communicatively with the stakeholders of the company because, without a clear understanding of their vision, you can't kind of guide that in the right direction. So, the vision is very important to how, we operate and things like that. That's like the first thing we iron out in our first conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. So in terms of what's next, like what's on the agenda? I know we obviously have this book. We have this book coming out. Obviously you're bringing on clients, business is growing. You're in a booming space overall. And like, what's next? Like what's on your vision for just growing the company and otherwise?
Just continuing to be an impact in my community professionally, and as well as with becoming a master of my craft. So what I've really been doing is homing in on, reading books and things like that will help me with strategy and understanding strategy and how, to use that, strategy and data and relationships to actually merge and build my business up and build it better and help out some businesses around here, get to the level that they want to be at, and whatever that may be, depending on, what they want and how they address it. That's what I want to do. So just continue to be an impact in everything that I do and everybody that I come across.
Perfect. Roy, if somebody's watching this and they want to learn more and they want to follow up to connect with you and your team, what's the best way for them to do that?
Usually on my website at w.stec.sc, that's STEC8SC.com. And you can email us at info at stechsc.com as well. And I'm also on LinkedIn.
Perfect. And we'll put all that information into the show notes so that the audience can just click on the links, head right on over and check out your website and connect with you and your team. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time connecting with Mission Matters or listening to an episode, we're all about bringing on business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and having them share their story, their mission, why they do what they do, how they're doing it, and really what we can all learn from that so we can all grow together. Bringing on Roy today, again, first of one of two interviews. We're going to be bringing him back once the book is out, and I can't wait to get into his ideas of mentorship, and we'll go further into his ideas on entrepreneurship as well. But for today, hey, Roy, I just want to say thank you again for coming on the show. It's really been a pleasure. Can't wait to the next time we get to do this.
Me neither. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you all for having me.